is there something you see that why there's more people playing at a high level after 30 right now?
I think it's got something to do with actually that life on tour is nice, you know. Because I know Stefan, he told me he could have played easily for another 5 years, you know, but he chose not to do that. I don't know why, if that's just family decisions or just saying, you know what, I've done it, you know, I'm okay with it. But today, players must be telling themselves, you know, it's actually really enjoyable on tour, and the last years of my playing days, may that be 1 year or 6 years, I don't know yet, but I want to just maybe take it a bit more easier, or you know, just enjoy it a bit more, and then maybe they realize that actually with a more relaxed mindset they can be equally successful, maybe a little less, but that's still good, and sometimes even more. So I think it's very interesting in this physical day and age to see that the older players are not being pushed out, which is nice to see. And I don't know how the women's tour is, how many older players are on the tour there, over 30, but on the men's tour anyway, we have a ton, and for me it's great because I know many of them from a long time ago.
Great.
Roger, you just used the word special when you reflected back on the early days. Do you miss those days, and is it?
Yeah, I do.
Would you like those days still to be here and now, or is it still as special now?
It's totally different today. I enjoy the game totally in a different way today. Back in the day, I did have a lot of pressure, so I felt I was being forced to having to play well. I was feeling I was expected to, and I don't feel it this way today. But the special part I meant before was just seeing the guys from TV live in front of me, you know, being able to practice with them, being able to play against them. That was like such a cool experience for me as a player and person that I'll never forget that. Today it's different because, like I said, I still play the same generation players. There's the next generation, which you clearly eventually have to embrace, which I did, which I enjoyed as well with the rivalries we've had with all the players we know. And then now you play guys who know you from TV, you know, basically. I mean, so that's a bit weird at the very beginning, but you kind of get used to it, and it's not like everybody comes up to you and goes, I know you from TV, you know, but it's nice to hear some stories from time to time, and it adds to the drama of the game of tennis, I guess.
Two more English, yeah?
Roger, you've gotten, on your year or so on Twitter, you've gotten very good at selfies.
Who?
You.
Oh, me, okay.
Very good at taking selfies, you know?
Yeah, okay.
If you could take a selfie with anybody, who would it be?
Nobody. I mean, this is totally for the supporter of me, whoever follows me, or a fan of mine, whatever they are, the people who do, you know, follow me on Twitter or Facebook. Just try to make it fun and different. Took me a long time to sort of warm up to social media because I just didn't know how it's supposed to be used, even though there's no rule to it. But I find some people use it in a very funny way and some in a very strange way. So I just first for myself had to find out what was going to be my direction. I saw it more as giving sort of the extra, you know, sort of hint, sort of my angle, an extra angle to our life on tour. So it's actually become quite enjoyable, and the last thing I want to feel is pressure that I have to take pictures or have to post something. If I don't want to post anything for weeks, you know, I have the right to do that, and that needs to be the case. But I must say it's pretty funny, you know, and it doesn't stress me out, and you just can't be sucked into it too crazy. Otherwise, all you start doing is just spending time on the phone, and that's not what I want happening to me.
Last English, Doug?
This is not my question, a quick follow-up to Craig. When you're talking about managing expectations, you're talking about pre your dominant years, like before you won slams? You're talking about
No, I'm talking about like when I came through the juniors onto the tour, probably the first 3 years, you know, like from 17 to 21.
But I just want to ask a question about Stan. I mean, obviously you're playing doubles here, you're probably spending a little bit more time together than normal. And has he been coming to you and asking about how to manage expectations and things like that? And if so, what kind of things?
Not so much, you know. I think the good thing for him is he's not 18, you know, so he's been on tour for a while, and he knows this success is like just an extra mega bonus for him, and now it's back to going back to the practice courts, enjoying the limelight he's in, but managing that so it doesn't drain him, and maybe he can do things and that he couldn't do before, meet people, go to events. Who knows? That's stuff he maybe always thought that'd be cool. And then he's done 3 and he's like, it's enough now, maybe. So I think it must be really enjoyable for him to also be recognized more as not just a journeyman who just happens to play very well, but actually be maybe a crowd pleaser, an idol to some, a favorite player now. People admire his backhand even more now. Those kind of things. It must be cool for him, and maybe I think he stopped coming to me probably 3-4 years ago. Like asking about everything, about managing his life, his forehand, his backhand, his break points, all that stuff, and I also let go because he needed to grow up by himself and make sure he was the player he can be. And now I sometimes go to him and ask him for advice on certain players, and he still does the same sometimes. So it's a good dynamic, and I'm happy that he is in a solid place now, and I hope he can play very successful for the coming years.
No enrollment in the Roger Federer School of Success then?
What's that?
No enrollment in the Roger Federer School
No.
of Success.
Thank you. Swiss press, please.
Yeah.